anyone, anytime, anywhere. I do think I'm one of the greatest of all time. Went toe-to-toe, you know, with the #1 pound-for-pound guy who Dana thinks is the best welterweight of all time in Usman. I do think I'm one of the greatest of all time. Fight 10 people, line them up. The top 10 guys, I'll go one by one. As long as I'm healthy, no one will stop me in this division. I have the biggest title in all of sports, you know, being Donald Trump's favorite fighter. So, you know, that's the most dear title to my heart. Stop trying to be a role model. You're not a role model, LeBron. The real role models are military and law enforcement in America. I think the best fighter in UFC history is obviously the biggest star, Conor McGregor. Jake's always lifted, hey guys, you know, I'm going to fight Mike Tyson. Yeah, I'm going to feel so fucking confident fighting Mike Tyson. I want to be the governor of Florida.
So who wins in a street fight, you or Maxx?
Walk up in the light. Yeah, I'm really am. Talking my shit like. I'm really am on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really am. Talking my shit like. I'm really am.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to The Rush. This is Maxx Crosby. I got my boy, Brogan Roback, Darian Terrell, our boy Creel here with us in spirit. But we have a very special guest today. We have a living legend, one of the best UFC fighters, period. Cardio king, still on his way to another title. I mean, Colby Covington's in the building. We appreciate you, brother.
Come on.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the worst golf clap I've ever heard.
Yeah, that was bad.
Fuck, I'm the only one clapping.
I had a stogie in my hand. I didn't want to ash in my chest.
I already had.
It's all good.
I'm committed, man. Don't worry.
But does it piss you off when people say it's just a facade? He just puts his persona on. Like, does that shit piss you off? It has to at some point because you're human, right?
Yeah. No, it doesn't piss me off because I realize in America and just in the world in general, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And I'm not going to say you're a bad person just because you have a different opinion than me or you want to have a reaction and think something about me. You don't know who I really am beneath the surface. You only know who I am when I show you who I am, like on social media. So it doesn't bother me. I think people should have their opinions and they should state whatever they want. It doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's facts.
Yeah.
You know, I try and do everything that's factual and within truth and reasoning. So, you know, I think people can have their opinions and I have no problem. The thing is I'm not an ultimate feelings champion. I'm an ultimate fighting champion. So I don't care what people say about me. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Yes. Do you feel like you lean into that a little bit? Like everybody says you have this persona about you or this act. Do you feel like you lean into it and absorb that bad guy, enemy type mentality?
Well, you know, I think at first I just didn't want to piss off like Dana and Hunter and the bosses of the UFC because I respect them so much for giving us a platform, you know, like, and giving us a brand and giving me more money than I could ever imagine being from a blue-collar town in Oregon. So, you know, I don't say I lean into it, but I definitely turn it up a little extra, and I just be myself, and I'm not afraid to take the path less traveled, and I don't care what people think about me. You know, I know I'm going to be judged, and I know people are going to, you know, try and say that I'm a mean person and I say mean things, but, you know, we're in the fight business. If you're worried about words, then, like, you shouldn't be in this business.
As you guys know, I love to travel. You know, during the season, I'm in all different cities, all across the globe. And the #1 thing that needs to be with me is this Manscaped lawnmower trimmer. The 3.0, the 4.0, and the 5.0. Keeps me on point, keeps me light on my feet, keeps me agile. Call them what you want. Knee knockers, golden nuggets, thigh slappers, etc. But our friends at Manscaped refer to them as the boys. Not every man has children, but every man is responsible for their 2 boys below the waist. The boys need love too. So join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com and use code RUSH for 20% off plus free shipping. Introducing the Lawnmower family, including the Lawnmower 3.0 Plus, the 4.0 Pro, and the 5.0 Ultra. 3 ball trimmers? Isn't that awesome? The boys need love too. These trimmers come with a travel case and even a travel lock feature to avoid any accidental powering and weird looks in the airport. This right here is on the cutting edge of cutting pubes. Upgrade your ball trimmer and your life will follow. 20% off plus free shipping with the code RUSH at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code RUSH at manscaped.com. For the best your boys have ever looked, trust Manscaped.
Another thing you said in a previous interview, everybody hates me, but people can say whatever they want. They're talking about one of the best fighters of all time. One, do you feel like you are one of the best fighters of all time? And you know how the group feels, but I just want your opinion. And then also, piggybacking off DT, does that hate propel you? Like, moving when you say those things and the people hate on you, all that, does that propel you, you know, to want to be better, to prove them wrong, or more so just prove yourself right?
Yeah, no, it definitely propels me. It makes me wake up early in the mornings, and I want to prove the doubters and the critics wrong. You know, when I hear things that people say about me, if you know they're high profile people, I put those things on my wall, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to show you wrong. I'm going to show you that that's not right, and I'm going to show you who I really am. So it definitely gets me up and gets that extra set out of me in training to want to push harder and prove them wrong.
I gotta ask, you cut the best promos, whether it's you sitting on your boat in Miami, you giving
chicks and bikinis. I look for them every time.
The bookie
every time.
Yeah, the bookie ones, those are all time.
Yes.
Or you know, on the boat or wherever the hell you're at, you cut the best promos. How many takes does it take you to cut those promos? And do you just come off the top with those things?
Yeah, I'm a one take man. You see me right now. I don't have no script. I'm not talking. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
When you're authentic and you're not afraid to just say how you feel, then you don't care what people think. You don't care who judges you. So, you know, I just come with facts, and I just say things that are out there that people already know about.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Ian Gary, I know you've probably seen this shit. Speaking of promos, that was classic. So he's claiming allegedly that he's accepted the fight with you.
We all know that he's a cuck, but now we know he's a liar. Because UFC, Hunter, Dana, they haven't talked to me about this fight. This fight has not been presented, you know. He's just lying. He's just trying to get clickbait and get people to talk about him. Like, I don't know who I'm fighting. I gave him stipulations. You know, I said, hey, if you want to fight me and you're serious about business, just show me you're serious. Because when I show up, I want to make money, and I'm trying to do good business. Yeah. We already saw at our last press conference. He didn't even show up because he knew I was going to have a live mic. So he's already scared to show up to a press conference where he's not fighting me. What's going to happen when he's at a press conference and he has to fight me? He's probably not going to show up. So I gave him stipulations. If you want to fight me and you want to show you're serious about business, turn on your comments. Could you imagine, Max, turning off your comments, like, and not letting the NFL fans like say what they think about you?
Yeah.
Come on, dude. That's some little girl shit. Like,
it is.
That's not wrong.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
So he's got that stipulation. I mean, let's put it back on you, Max. Like, let's be honest. Yeah. Let's be honest. Like, that's what I love about the UFC and Dana, is that they give us that free range to kind of do what we want. But imagine, like, on football Sundays, if you could tell some of your rival quarterbacks, like, yo, these are the stipulations you got to do. It's going to make you play harder. Yeah. Like, imagine if you could be like, Josh Allen, stipulation 1, if I sack you, your girl's got to play in one of my commercials or whatever, your the Rush podcast, you know, for the week. Imagine that. That's going to make you play harder.
100%.
And that's the beautiful thing about the UFC, is they give us the free reign. They don't put a muzzle on us, you know, and we're allowed to say whatever we want. So it makes the game fun and entertaining.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. What are the exact stipulations you gave him?
Comments are 1.
Yeah.
The first one, you got to turn the comments on.
Yeah.
The second one, which shouldn't be hard, you know, just have his wife get on her knees and beg for the fight, because she's always out there doing it, you know, non-soliciting. She loves to get out there and do those things. So, and then number 3, after I beat him, his girl has to star in my next, you know, bet with the best promo. It's not too much. 3 stipulations.
3. It's only 3.
It's only 3. I just want to see he's serious about business. If he wants this fight, like, why do I have to go back in the rankings to fight him? He does nothing for me. I have a great contract in the UFC. I'm going to get paid good no matter who I fight. So I don't really need to fight him. I'd rather fight someone ahead of me and get back to the title fight. I want Leon. That's who I want. I want to show the world that I'm healthy and I can beat anybody in the world. And I am the best welterweight on earth right now. So, you know, if he wants to show he's serious at business and he really wants this fight, just agree to the 3 stipulations. Turn on the comments, cuck.
Would that make him a bigger cuck, though, if he did abide by those stipulations?
What?
Would it make him a bigger cuck if he did abide by those stipulations? Like, imagine if he had his wife get
you gotta
on actual knees and beg Colby Chaos, please take this fight with my hubby.
Yeah.
And we share the same last name.
Well, I mean, she's always getting on her knees looking for her ex-husband. They all live together. Their little love triangle that they have going on. Dude, it's the truth. She's out there promoting some book, WAG, How to Be a WAG, a Wife and a Girlfriend, while she's living with her ex-husband who has a kid, and they all live under the same house. That's some cuck shit. That's some weird ass shit.
That's insanity. That's insane.
That's crazy, man.
That is. And then she did kind of come to his defense. So did that kind of make you not want to fight anymore with Ian, because she kind of defended him and sent that like 5-minute video out?
Yeah, you're a grown-ass man. You're letting some girl that's like 17 years older than you, as it is. Why do you have... He must have never touched a titty in his life. Because, come on, let's be honest. You're dating some girl in her mid-40s. You're like 25, dude. And she's got baggage. She's got a kid and a husband that's got to live with you. Like,
who would be your like ideal matchup? Obviously, like you said, Ian's below you. So it's not the most ideal fight. if they don't give you a Leon rematch right away, who would be the next guy that you would want to fight? And that would give you a best chance to get back to the, the belt.
I love this company with all my heart. They changed my life, made me a multimillionaire. So I'm so thankful to and grateful for what they've done. So I'm going to let them decide. But, I don't know. Maybe this kid, Bailey Muhammad, who's been talking a lot, he's up there in the rankings above me. So I think if I beat that guy, it gets me right back to a title fight. So, I don't know. Anybody, I could fight Joe Schmo off the street, and I'm gonna get the same paycheck, and it's gonna be a high level fight. Every time I get on the mic, I'm gonna sell that shit to the moon because I love this company. So I don't know. I don't have like names in particular, but anyone, anytime, anywhere. I fought the best fighters this sport's ever produced. Like you're talking about. If I do think I'm one of the greatest, I do think I'm one of the greatest of all time. I went toe to toe, with the number one pound for pound guy who Dana thinks is the best welterweight of all time in Usman. So. Yeah. I think I beat him. I kicked him in the liver in the first round, the second round, and he was like, "Oh, nut shot!" And they clearly saw on the replay like it was a liver shot. Like he was going down, he was going to be TKO'd. I was going to win the fight. So, and this is and then the referee they stopped it like bad a couple times. It wasn't a fair fight. I was fighting 2-on-1 that night, and then the second fight we fought in Madison Square Garden. I thought I beat him 3 rounds to 2. He had one good round where he dropped me in the second, but I came back and rallied, won the third, fourth, and fifth round, dropped him in the fourth, almost knocked him out, but he got saved by the bell, and he went back to the stool wobbling, and so, I thought I beat him in that.
All right, y'all, let's be real. Most guys would wear a T-shirt every day of their lives if they could. The problem is that most T-shirts are not acceptable to wear at work or to wear out on a hot date. So today's sponsors, Cuts, has officially changed that. Cuts T-shirts are such high quality, wrinkle-free, and so buttery soft, you can look like you're dressing up even when you're dressing down. For a limited time, you can save money while redefining the dress code by heading to Cuts, C-U-T-S, clothing.com and use code RUSH for 20% off. I mentioned wrinkle-free and that you can wear it every single day. But what you guys don't know, I'm giving you free game here and cheat code. You can wear these joggers on the course. You're going to look fly. You're going to look great. You're going to feel great. And you already know when you're on a course feeling great, you're going to score low and you're going to play well. For a limited time, our listeners get 20% off your entire order when you use code RUSH, RUSH, at checkout. That's 20% off your order at cutsclothing.com with promo code RUSH, RUSH. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Experience the perfect blend of style and comfort with Cuts Clothing.
And then, my last fight with Leon, it wasn't a great performance, but everybody knows I had a broken foot now that the x-rays have come out. And I don't know what made him so special in that fight. This guy's the number 3 pound for pound fighter. He didn't put any damage on my face. I didn't have one scratch. I had a couple bruises on my legs and a broken foot. That was it. What made him so special? So, I do think I'm one of the greatest of all time, but, I just believe in myself more than anything.
So that fight feels incomplete in your eyes. Unless you put me to sleep or you beat the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I don't really think you beat me.
It's unfinished business for sure. Like, you couldn't finish me on one foot. He should have been able to knock me out easily, like being on one foot. If he was on one foot and the rules are reversed, he's not standing a chance. He's not lasting 2 or 3 rounds. So to go fight 25 minutes like that, and just the way he fights, he's such a pussy. Like he just likes to sit back and counter strike, throw a low kick. There's no threat, like he's not that great of a fighter. So
he's a pretty fighter.
Yeah, he's a pretty technical fighter, but he just stays sound. He doesn't really engage much. He just backs around and then, one little low kick, one little jab, nothing crazy. So, I don't think he beat me. He definitely didn't outclass me. It was a competitive fight. The strikes count showed that I landed more strikes than him. So, where was this dominant? Everybody wanted to give me shit for the performance. Why don't you give that guy shit? I was on one foot, broken foot in 3 different places. So, I know that is unfinished business. I'll do whatever it takes to get back to him. If I have to fight 10 people, line them up, the top 10 guys, I'll go one by one. As long as I'm healthy, no one will stop me in this division.
I love that. Does a guy like Hamzat intrigue you?
Oh, yeah.
Selfishly, I really want to see that. Me too. But I'm concerned that he can't make the weight. Yeah, he can't make the weight at 170. But that's definitely a fight that you would be intrigued by?
In a 5-round fight, I would be super intrigued by that fight. I always told them, like, I want this guy in the main event. I don't think he can last. His cardio doesn't look that good, His last fight, he fought Usman at 185 on 1 week's notice, and I thought Usman won the fight. He landed more strikes. He came out the first round, he wrestled him, and he didn't do any damage. And then the second and third round, he was just coasting to a victory. So, I think the guy is going to get exposed soon. He doesn't have good cardio, and, he's not as good as everybody thinks he is.
Is it bullshit when people are like, we offered Hamzat to this guy and this guy, no one's taking it, no one's taking it? Is that bullshit?
Oh, yeah, they're just hyping him. That's wolf tickets.
Wolf tickets.
That's not true. That's just, they try to make him look like this scary freaking larger than life figure, but he's nothing special. He's a human. He bleeds like all of us. You know, we tie our shoes all the same way. So
Yeah.
he's nothing special. I don't see anything special in that.
And is anyone in the UFC really afraid to fight anybody? Do you know anyone in the UFC that is like kind of a scaredy?
Who's ducking?
Yeah, ducking.
You can call him.
Not really, because I don't have any friends in the UFC besides maybe like, you know, Sean O'Malley's cool. I respect that kid a lot, but there's definitely a lot of fighters that are scared and they duck fights. And if Dana calls them with a certain fight, they're going to turn down the fight. But if you got into this business and you knew you were going to be fighting other people, if you're scared to fight someone, you back at home.
Just go.
Yeah.
Don't fight, bro. This ain't the right business for you.
Hell no.
Yeah, 100%. You had the 2 Usman fights. You know, it could have gone either way. Both those fights were incredible. Arguably the best rivalry duo matchup in my time that I've seen. Obviously, you know, we talked to a lot of fighters. We talked to Jamal Hill. We asked him, who did you think was the toughest guy you matched up against? Who was it for you? Like the one guy that you were like, what the f-? You couldn't figure him out necessarily.
Usman was definitely my hardest challenge. You know, he was a big, strong guy. You know, the CEO of EPO. I really do feel like he was on every steroid known to man. You know, you could see come on, dude. You're in your mid-30s. You're having a chemical outbreak on your body, like you're going through puberty again in your 16s. Come on, dude. That's not realistic. It's science. It's science. We want to talk about science, but then when we go in a situation like this, we forget about the facts and science. So, you know, he was the toughest fight that I had to go against, but, you know, I thought I beat him both fights. You know, I thought I showed who I really was in that first fight, you know. Very close neck and neck. And then the second fight in Madison Square Garden, every single fan in the arena when I was leaving, they were like, Colby, you won that fight. How did you lose that fight? So,
Yeah.
you know, I thought I had the better of him. Maybe we can run a trilogy. You know, I was hoping that I was going to get the belt and we could run that trilogy back. But, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what the future in the UFC and the bosses, Dana White, want to do.
Do you like running it back with guys, you know, after pause? Do you like to run it back with other fighters, though, that you've already faced? Or do you like new blood? Like, when you're making that decision, like, what does Colby look for? What do you like? I'm curious as from an outsider looking in.
Just for the biggest and best business the company can do. It doesn't matter about titles, man. I've won titles. You know, I have the biggest title in all of sports, you know, being Donald Trump's favorite fighter. So, you know, that's the most dear title to my heart. So that's the only title I need anymore. Now I just want to do good business for the company. This company's changed my life. Like, I never imagined being in the position I'm in now. So I just, whatever the biggest and best business the UFC can do, that's what I wanted to take part in.
On O'Malley, you said he's one of the only guys that you really like. Is that like is that a happy dad thing, or what is it about O'Malley that you're like, yeah, I kind of f with this guy? Because you just said it. You have no friends in the game, and you've been around for what, 14 years?
Yeah.
Good for you, by the way. That's dope. Yeah, longevity, man, it's a part, in my opinion, it's part of greatness. I know you're going to hate me for this. I'm probably going to regret saying it, but I'm a LeBron fan.
There it is.
There we go.
So I don't take any offense to anything you said. You know what I mean?
Though.
But my point to that is longevity.
Colby's a huge LeBron fan.
Yeah,
Colby's a big LeBron
we've already
fan.
heard about it. Yeah. But my point to it is longevity is a part of greatness, and I feel like that's slept on. But just curious, what struck you about O'Malley that you're like, I can get along with this kid?
Yeah, just, you know, he's not afraid to dye his hair and care what people think of him. You know, he puts his hair pink. He doesn't give a shit, but he doesn't care. You know, he goes out there and he shows them who he is. You know, he's an all-time great. He's undefeated. He's the champion of the world in the bantamweight division. So I just like his style. I think he's got great style, and he brings something unique to the business that a lot of these fighters don't do. Like, a lot of these guys, they're just fighters. Oh, I'll show up. I'm gonna fight. They have no like intellectual depth. They have no like thinking where they're more than just a fighter. They can sell these fights. They can create business for the UFC. So that's what Sean does, and that's why I respect him. And going back to LeBron, you know, I just don't like people that don't like your country. You know, this country gave you everything. They gave you billions of dollars, man, and you're shitting on the country. You're shitting on, you know, the backbone of this country, our first responders. He talks about, you know, law enforcement being the enemy of the people and putting targets on those guys' backs. So, you know, I can't respect someone like that who's using women and employing Chinese women in Chinese sweatshops to make all your merchandise product, you know. So stop trying to be a role model. You're not a role model, LeBron. The real role models are military and law enforcement in America.
He's right at it.
I love it.
Look at the shit on his face. He's like, yeah, cut that.
Fucking put that shit in this.
Can we get the ding on the
But if you had to pick, who's better between LeBron and Jordan?
Oh, no question, Jordan. He has more rings.
Fucking love this guy.
Who is one person, past, present, future, I guess, future stuff, but that you would love to get in the octagon with and just to show him you're the man?
I think the best fighter in UFC history is obviously the biggest star, Conor McGregor. You know, what he's done for the sport. He's elevated us to mainstream, you know, attention, and he's brought more fans that are casuals that didn't even watch fighting before because they just want to see Conor McGregor fight. So he's just the most easily identifiable fighter that we have, and I think he's, you know, probably has the best legacy in the sport.
Definitely. Will anyone ever match that?
No, I don't think so. Just because the way he was able to parlay it into the Floyd fight, like, no one's going to get another boxing fight against the greatest boxer of all time. And then, you know, and then, at that rate, and then get the whiskey company and be able to just, you know, take that off to them.
Sell it for $500 million or whatever the hell it was. We were at your fight against Jorge. Yeah, it was dope. It was a dope fight. But my question to you is, him and Nate Diaz apparently are putting the gloves on in boxing. A, do you care? B, who wins the fight?
No, I don't care, but, you know, I'm on your guys' pod, so I'll give a take. You know, these are just two over-the-hill MMA fighters. They're going to a sport they don't even do. Like, what are we doing here, man? What is this? Like,
are they throwing these fights?
For sure, 100%. And like, I've heard from multiple people that they're paying guys off to take dives when they fight them. So, you know, I heard it when they fought Tyron Woodley, you know, a former opponent of mine that I, you know, finished and knocked out. So he went over and fought Jake Paul after that, and I heard a lot of people saying that he got paid $5 million to take the fight, and like, you could see the way they were in the ring afterwards. Oh, bro, what's up? You know, like, dude, you just fought that person. Now you guys are gonna be best friends. I've heard a lot that he pays guys off. You know, they got the machine behind them. They got, you know, Hollywood. He was a Lizzie McGuire star in Disney. And just so I call him Lispy McGuire because Jake's always lisping. Hey guys, you know, I'm gonna fight Mike Tyson. Yeah, I'm gonna feel so confident fighting Mike Tyson. 60-year-old Mike Tyson. That's gonna solidify my legacy as a boxer.
That was my other question for you.
It was a mixture of Jake and Nate Diaz.
Yeah, that was
just dog brain with a lid.
Yeah. So with Mike, can you even imagine though? Will Mike throw a fight? I guess if the money's right, but I don't see. It's hard for me to do.
I would want to think it's true, but I know he would. But he doesn't even have to throw because, man, the guy, you know, don't take anything away from his legacy. He's the most feared man that's probably ever walked the planet. That guy, like, when he was in his 20s and, like, the king of the heavyweight division, no one wanted to fight him. No one wanted to be in the same room with him. It was like, if you put your eyes on you, that motherfucker was going to eat you alive.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. We all carry around different stressors, big and small. When we keep them bottled up, it can start to affect us negatively. Therapy is a safe place to get things off of your chest. For me, for example, traveling during the season, constant meetings, all different type of pressures from the outside world, the inside. Those are stressors, but at the end of the day, it's how you handle them. So therapy, people have their opinions on it, good and bad. For me personally, it's been an incredible experience. I've had the opportunity to learn more about myself and get things off my chest that most people bury, you know, deep down inside. So I think that's the most important thing. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suitable to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/rush today to get 10% off your first month. What fighter, like, all time would you want to match up with in the UFC? Who's, like, the guy, old, like, past or current?
Yeah. Probably John Jones, just because everybody reviews him as a GOAT, but we used to share a bunk bed, so I know how tough he really is. I don't think he's
spill the tea, right?
You know,
I did read that. I seen that y'all were roommates, right?
We were roommates at this Iowa Central Community College. We both won junior college national titles together, helped that propel that team to being one of, like, the best junior college national programs ever for wrestling. So, you know, I know the skeletons that are in his closet. I know I can hit the truth with him, and you know, I don't think he's that good of a fighter. You know, he's definitely juiced himself up through the years. And that's not me saying that. That's facts. You know, USADA's caught him multiple times. He's the guy that's hiding under the cage when USADA's coming in to drug test him. He hid under there for like 12 or 14 hours. This is a notorious story at Greg Jackson's camp. USADA comes in and give him a piss test. He hides under the cage, doesn't come out. And the test is like, all right, I'm staying. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for John to come in whenever he's coming to the gym. Greg's like, yeah, he'll be in here in a couple hours. Yeah, he should be here. He'll be here to train today. He never misses a day. Sit in the cage for 12, 14 hours to evade this test. Like, wow, the guy is just...
What?
I did not know that.
14 hours sitting.
What was John like?
That's insane.
Did you guys have a good relationship at that time when you were teammates?
Oh yeah.
And then, in your opinion, where did it kind of like turn?
We were best friends, for the 2 years that we shared. We shared a bunk bed. He was on the top bunk. He let me sleep on the bottom bunk because, real G's sleep on the bottom bunk. I'm not trying to fall off the top bunk. That's a long fall.
100%.
Yeah. So we had a great relationship. Honestly, dude, he started using towards the end of his career because they were like, hey, let's get you to go to heavyweight. He was wrestling at 197, and they were like, hey, let's go to heavyweight. So he felt like he had to do like testosterone and growth hormone and start putting on size and mass. So he started doing that, and he got a chemical imbalance, and he just started acting different. Like, he started getting emotional about little shit. Like, I'd leave my shoes out one day, and he's fuck, yo, what the fuck, Colby? You piece of shit, man. Put your fucking shoes in the right place. I'm like, bro, they're like barely outside the door. Like, what's the big deal, man? We're college bachelors, we're singles living this life, like, living the college party life, the frat sorority parties and doing that. So why do you care, So, it changed him, man. And a lot of people that were close to him, he cut them all off. He doesn't really have any friends that were with him before because he just completely changed as a person. So,
Yeah.
it's not someone I want to surround myself with. Obviously, you can see in the media he's there every day. Now, his latest thing was some drug tester showed up to his house two or 3 days ago, and he threatened the tester, I'll kill you. Bitches that come to my house, they end up dead. Shit like, what the f-? Like, dude, it's one thing after another. He's hitting pregnant ladies at car crashes. He slapped his wife in Vegas last time he was here, left her bloody. She came down here, got charged with the Las Vegas Police Department. God bless the Las Vegas Police Department. Greatest organization in all the land. So, but yeah, he's just not a good person. So that's why I want to fight him, because I like fighting people that I genuinely have seriously hate for.
Interesting. Do you think he's ducking Tom Aspinall?
For sure. He's 100% ducking Tom Aspinall. He knows he doesn't have it anymore, and he knows he's just not the same. He looks so fat and out of shape, and he did good for himself. He made some money. He has a good legacy. I think the legacy is filled with just corruption, scamming and lies and deceit. But I'm a man with truth and honesty, and I just come with facts. I'm just saying what's out there, what's the truth. So his character, is not very good, and I think that people see that.
Interesting. Yeah, because everyone, casual or even go all the way over to Dana White, I feel like everyone labels him as the GOAT. Would you say that?
Nah, too many inconsistencies. If you fail multiple steroid tests, you shouldn't be labeled as the GOAT. And just all his off-field shenanigans, just like Dana White also said, that he's the biggest waste of talent that the sport's ever seen. So if he would have committed himself, I think, he could have for sure been that guy. But the guy has too many skeletons in the closet, just too many just evil things that he's done, and I don't think he's a man of God like he says he is.
What advice, Colby, would you have for athletes who are afraid of being themselves in the media?
First ask, like, why are you afraid? Like, these media nerds, let's be honest, they're just fanboys of the sport. They're not actual media. None of them have media journalist degrees. Like, they're not really media. They just want tickets to UFC events because they're fanboys, and they freaking freak out when they see fighters. So the first thing I would say is, dude, these guys are pencil neck, little freaking mouth breathing, freaking neck bearded virgins. Like, why do you care about their opinion? They're worthless to society. Like, I'll come talk to you guys. This is real media. You guys are more media than they are in MMA media. So why the do you give a about these nerds? They're clickbait merchants.
I feel that.
Nerds and virgins. It used to be my favorite one from you. So
that's all time.
Well, maybe you can get a good word in for us, or you and Maxx with the connections, and we'll start hammering some real good questions out in media days. You get some real, just athlete to athlete, right?
Yeah,
100%.
That's something they can't relate to, though. You guys are actually athletes. You guys actually played at the highest level of the game. Like, these people come off the couch in their mom's basement eating Cheetos, and they want to tell a fighter, oh, you didn't do this right. Bitch, you're 500 pounds. You're losing a 10-8 fight to obesity. How are you going to tell me how to fight?
All facts. All facts. I want to switch a little bit, get a little more serious. I was talking to the guys. I had my conditioning test today. Fired up about it. Went really well. You're literally known as a cardio king in the UFC. Is there anything that you can share with us as far as what your process is when you're getting ready for a fight that separates you? Or is it a mixture? Because I talked to my brother about this. We're on the phone talking last week, and my brother's getting into fighting and shit now, and we always were back and forth talking about MMA, fighting, all type of shit like that. But we were talking about cardio, and people label me as Maxx is you know, he plays more snaps than anybody. He can do it all day. And I said, yes, my training, I do it every single day. I'm all year round, like we talked about. But there's also a mental side that I'm never going to quit. Do you think it's more on the preparation, or is it a mixture between your mentality and your preparation?
It is a mixture, but I would say it's stronger on the mental side, like a 70-30 split, like 70 mental, 30% like your preparation, your discipline, your diet, you know, what type of lifestyle choices you have every day. Are you going out to party, or are you going to sleep to recover? You know, like those are the differences. But you know, that's what I could tell with you right away, like how, like your energy was like, you weren't like spastic energy. Like, you know, like some players, like they're so ego driven. Like you could tell you're just such a humble guy, and that's what makes you one of the greatest to ever play the game, because you can just tell on your energy. And I think your mental is just a different output. And I think that's what makes you the player that you are today. And that's what separates, you know, the greats from just the average.
100%. No, I totally agree with you. Maybe that's what me and my brother talked about, is like, you can prepare and do everything perfect. Like they know how I am. I'm up every morning at 5:30. I'm ready to go. I'm training all year round, January to January. But it's that mental that separates, like, you know, the legends from the really good. And I think that's what separates you, and that's why I think you're going to be, you know, with a belt again very soon, because that mental approach to what you do on a daily basis. Like I don't give a what your talent is, how big you are. Like you said, a guy like Hamza, everyone's terrified of. You're not worried about that. You're like, you're literally gonna have to kill me to get me out of this ring. So, yeah, bro, I like to hear that, because a lot of guys talk about, you know, their different ways of doing things. Some guys, like a Ryan Garcia, I've been watching him. They got the build up for his fight, and he's like, shit, I drink during my camp and I smoke and do all this shit. He's like, but it doesn't matter. Just mentally, I'm ready. I'm like, no, that's up. That's totally up. Like, you have to have the preparation, but if you have the mindset to be great, you gotta have a different type of a switch in your head where you're not gonna quit no matter what.
Yeah, which is ironic, because that guy quit the last time he got touched to the body. You know, we were at that fight, the Gervonta at the T-Mobile.
Yeah,
you know, he got touched to the body. The guy quit. Like, you know, like that's where mentality plays a part. You know, like you would walk right through that, and you know, guys that are mentally strong, that wouldn't be nothing to take a little body shot. You know, they'd come back. So, you know, when you don't make the sacrifices necessary to be a great player, and you take shortcuts, and you're drinking, and you're sacrificing your preparation, that's what happens in game time. You quit, and it's easy to just throw on the towel. It's not a big deal, because you're already getting paid, so whatever, you know, you're not going to really show your true colors and try and make a spectacle for the people.
Hell yeah. And I think I don't think the average person understands how much time and how much effort and how much detail goes into that. For you, you're 36 years old now. How long do you see yourself doing it? Because it is a lot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you love what you do, and you have goals that are bigger than what other people can even comprehend. How long do you see yourself fighting, you know, for? How much longer do you think you got?
Yeah. For me, luckily, you know, I've taken very good care of my body and my brain. You know, I didn't spar hard early in my career like most of these guys. They go spar like 4 or 5 times a week. Like,
Strickland?
Yeah,
Strickland
guys like,
spars every day.
Dude, that's why he's got CTE and he's out of his head. You know, he's you know, he's just saying crazy shit and like beating up YouTubers. Like, come on, dude, why are you picking on the YouTubers, man? Don't do it Sneeko dirty like that. That's fucked up. So, you know, like, I'm not gonna be one of those guys that are, you know, pistol whipping people outside my house and pointing a gun to them in the middle of the street like Sean's doing. So, you know, I have good composure, and, you know, I want to keep a good reputation. You know, I have high people that have my back and want to see me do good things. So I do have some unfinished business in the UFC. So I would say like probably like 3 to 4 years. Like, I could for sure fight till I'm 40. You know, my friend Daniel Cormier, he was fighting when he was 42, still winning world titles. So he took good care of his body, you know, and you know, he had a healthy diet, and you know, I've never really taken a lot of damage in fight. I've never been knocked out, not in training or in a fight. So, you know, that's rare for most fighters. So I just want to get back to the title, get the title, and probably defend it once, and then walk away and probably become like the governor of Florida or something. Trump wants me to go into Congress or Senate, but, you know, I think a governor realm would be pretty fun.
You need a real voice, you know, someone that's going to just keep it real and not with the politic bullshit, right? Can we not feed through that?
Yeah, we don't need any more politically correct people. We need people that are just going to say how it is.
Get back to being that strong country that people are afraid of, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly.
Peace through strength. You know, that's what Trump had. You know, no one wanted to fuck with us because we had peace through strength. Now we have a weak guy that's decrepit in the office that, You know, doesn't even know where he is half the time. He can't even walk up the stairs of Air Force One. He's literally tripping most of the time. Can't even ride a bicycle. He's falling off the bicycle. This is the greatest nation on earth. You come here, doesn't matter what your background, who you are, what you believe politically, you can achieve the American dream if you work hard, you believe, and you put in the time and effort. So that's why everybody loves America, because it's the land of opportunity. It's the land of the free, and there's a reason because our 4 founders that fought and protected our freedoms here in America.
Obviously, huge supporter of Donald Trump. I've gotten, the honor of meeting him a couple times. How's that relationship? How did it even, I'll just start with this. How did that even start and, begin?
So it started in 2018. The Philadelphia Eagles declined an invitation to go to the White House. And, I'm not saying, it doesn't matter which side of the spectrum you're on. If you're on either side, you don't deny that opportunity to go to the White House, the most, the most, spectacle place you could go as an American, to go to the White House with the president and just all the senators and all the big business they do political for our country. So, 2018 Philadelphia Eagles declined to go there. So I went out there and I won the interim world title. And I said, hey, Mr. Trump, I'm bringing this belt to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and I'm going to put this belt on your desk like a real American, and I want to come to the White House. And he called me instantly right after. Dana made it happen, because Dana's very good friends with Trump. So, shout out to Dana White for, hooking it up and giving me this relationship I have with Donald Trump today. And, we've stayed friends ever since. He calls me, before the Leon fight, he was giving me advice. He was like, man, make sure you keep the pressure on him, Colby. Make sure you keep the pressure.
He's a real fight fan. I feel like people don't truly understand that.
Yeah,
and he's a real fighter, because he's actually done combat sports. He wrestled in high school. People don't know that. So.
Oh, shit.
He's a big...
Yeah, he is big.
Yeah, the first time I went to the White House and I saw him in the Oval Office, he was telling me a story about wrestling. He's like, you know why I respect you so much, Colby? I was like, why? He's like, because you're a wrestler just like me. But when I wrestled in high school, Colby, I was the one counting the lights in the ceilings.
At least he admitted it.
On his back.
At least he admitted it.
That's about one of the only times you see Donald take an L then.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But that's how humble and genuine the guy is. He's willing to tell a funny story about him that doesn't make him shine in a great light, but he's that down-to-earth guy next door that isn't afraid to make jokes about himself.
After the fight, I thought it was cool because I'm sure there's many emotions for you. Battling for the belt, which you've done a few times, broke your foot, didn't happen the way you wanted it to, but then even afterwards, you shout out Donald. What was that like? Did you have any conversation after that fight with him?
Yeah, so, he came to the locker room and he just told me, no matter what, Colby, if you keep working hard, you will always be a champion. And he just said, don't let one loss define your career and define your legacy as a human and as an athlete. So, he was just giving me so much words of encouragement and just such a down-to-earth person. And we went back to the hotel, and he took care of all my team's dinner in the meal of the Trump Hotel, and just gives such good first-class treatment. He was texting me all day like he was going to a rally, and he was just like, I got to head to this rally, Colby, but I appreciate you putting on a show for me last night. I know it didn't go, but we're gonna make it right in the future. So
amen.
Yeah, it's been crazy, man, just to, have the relationship I have with him and his whole family. I'm very close with all his sons. Donald Trump Jr. is a friend of mine, Eric Trump, and also a guy named Barron Trump, who a lot of people don't know about because he stayed behind the scenes because he doesn't want to be smeared.
Like a Hunter Campbell guy.
He's a Hunter Campbell.
He's a Hunter Campbell, yeah. So he stays behind the scenes, but this kid is one of the smartest kids I've ever talked to. He's 18 years old. He talks just like his dad, like he's his dad's age, and like the intellectual depth is just out of this world. He's talking about history from like the 1930s. I'm like, dude, are you real, Barry? Yeah.
You're an alien.
Give me a social studies.
You're a fucking robot. What is
He's like
that?
6'8", isn't he?
He's a creative.
I saw I saw a picture because we used to always see him when he was younger, and then I saw a picture of him recently. He's like 6'8".
Yeah.
He's huge.
Yeah.
He's 6'8".
Dude, he's huge.
Is he going to be in the politics world?
Oh,
Actually, for sure. He's going to make his dive for
I
sure.
didn't know if he was trying to play point or, power forward, something like that with the height.
yo, you never know.
A bunch of fans, I took a picture of them last week, and we had dinner with him and his dad at Mar-a-Lago at the, Trump's house, and everybody was like, oh, you should get into basketball, and I'm just like laughing. Why would he get into he could own a basketball team.
But he's going to go through all that training. Buy the team.
That's a great point.
How is Mar-a-Lago? What is that like?
Dude,
Oh,
amazing. If you come to Florida, I will take you to Mar-a-Lago. You got the access. And
Yeah, I'd love to.
Dude, it's the craziest palace you've ever seen. It's like 30 acres of beachfront property. All the finishing touches, it looks like a legitimate castle. Like these chandeliers and it's just the most beautiful architecture you've ever seen in a house. And You know, it's like $1 billion house, and they tried to say it was only worth like 18 million, but now they keep just raising it. Now it might be worth 300 mil. Oh, it might be 700 mil.
Yeah,
but just a beautiful place, and you know, it's you got open access anytime. If you ever want to go up there.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we'll definitely make that happen. Yeah. The one thing, bro, I will say is not even a question, but like one of the main reasons I respect you is that, and I can fully relate to you in this way. I feel like at the end of the day, there's people on social media that are going to judge other human beings that they don't know one real thing about. They only know what they hear. You know, at the end of the day, you know how it was even 5 years ago. If you mention the name Donald Trump, you're this, and this. Yeah. And I respect the fact that you've taken the time to actually have a relationship with him. And I don't know him like that. I met him twice. And from my experience, he was the most down-to-earth, coolest, respectful. Like, he knew about me. I couldn't believe that he knew that, even about me, that I existed. Yeah. And I think that's just, it's cool. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we're all human beings. Yeah. And I think that's something that goes unnoticed, is that you don't give a f. You're unapologetic, but you take the time to actually, you know, have relationships and take the heat and just keep rolling. So, yeah, I just want to give you your flowers on that, because I think that's what's missing a lot in this world, is people just being straight up and being honest, because they're scared of the heat that's going to come behind it. Yeah. You know, I've in Miami, ironically, I went to the fight, and Trump walks in the back. I'm hanging with Dana and the guys. He sat with us for like 30 minutes and just watching the fights. And somebody took a picture, and I'm in the background. All of a sudden, I'm getting murdered online. I'm like, what the f did I do? I'm just minding my own business. I'm minding my own business. What the f? And I haven't even had time to address it, but it's like, I don't care. At the end of the day, like, he treated me great. I don't know. I don't get into politics. I don't do any of that. But at the end of the day, like any other human being, if you show me respect, I'm going to give you respect back. So I respect you on a ton of levels, but that shit is, I think it's cool that you just say, f it. I'm going to just be real with you know, my relationship with him.
I feel like that's why, even if people ask Dana, that was his whole reason why he's boys and close with Trump. He's like, he supported me way back when I started this business, when no one else really did. Yeah. Like, he's just been a good guy towards me. Like, it has nothing to do with you want to vote for him or don't vote for him. That's not going to persuade me one way or another. Like, that's my guy. And I think that's the same way. Like, I feel like there's a lot of similarities with you and Dana and Maxx, and just a lot of, it's not a coincidence why you guys are all successful also, because you treat people the right way, you do the right things. And I like Maxx, man, I commend the shit out of it. And
where did you get that from? Like, who was the person that put you on game? Who made you so patriotic, or was it just you doing your own research?
You know, my grandfather flew in the Korean and Vietnam War for the U.S. Air Force, so he's the real one that made me patriotic and believe like how great of a country America was, and how if you fight for it, you know, anything's possible in this life. So, you know, he's definitely put me onto it. But seeing, you know, our law enforcement and interacting with those guys and our military here in America, like, I go to bases and volunteer my time and money. You know, I don't get paid and do photo ops like some players, you know, that they'll go and they'll just show face and they'll get paid a $50,000 check or $100,000 check from the government. Now, I go donate my time to boost morale, to help these guys out and show them that, you know, we do care about you fighting for us, because there's no timeouts or second or third quarter for war. War is 365, 24/7. So even if it's Christmas, these guys don't get to go home to their families. So, you know, that's why I respect these guys. I really do think these are the real role models of our country. I don't think like top level celebrities like a LeBron. He's not a role model. This isn't the kid that should be affecting the next generation of kids. We need people that are strong individuals that stand for good morals and values and have principles, you know, not people that are just going to sell out to the establishment.
I want to ask you a personal question. Hopefully it's all right. But after the fight, just specifically because it's so recent, but like Leon, people were booing you. But it's so funny because at some points in fights, they're chanting Colby, Colby. It just goes so back and forth. I know you are a bad, but it's cool chopping up with you because you're a great guy. And I think that's one thing with Maxx. Like, I say this all the time to him, because I believe in giving people their flowers while they're here and while they're doing stuff. He just has a great heart. Like, he does things for people. He cares about them. Doesn't want shit in return. And I can get like the same vibe with you. So does shit like that bother you? Like, I know you're not going to show it, but like, not really the booing, because it's sports. Like, we've all gotten booed. It is what it is. But like, when people really come at your character and come at who you are, like, does it bother Colby ever?
Never. You know, I knew what I signed up for, and I knew that, you know, you're always going to have people on both sides of the spectrum. my biggest thing when I started rising up is I don't want them to turn the channel or miss one of my fights to turn it to Real Housewives of OC. I want to keep them tuned in on the UFC and Colby Covington on my fights. So whether people hate me or love me, it's all the same in the end. You know, you're giving me a reaction, and these people paid their hard-earned money. Even my haters, like, they paid their hard-earned money to be there. So if they want to hate on me and they want to boo, whatever, they deserve that reaction. You know, they want to come and feel involved with the sporting event. So, you know, they're involved. You know, they can hate me. They don't know who I really am, and they want to judge me off things that aren't true. But, you know, they're entitled to it. They're allowed to think and speak whatever they want. Doesn't bother me. I will never, no words will ever offend me or ever hurt my feelings. Like, you could say anything about me. Nothing will ever personally get to me because, you know, I'm a man, and I'm a strong alpha. I'm not a beta.
Hey man, I like that. That was Jordan's approach too. He was like, shit, at the end of the day, he was like, whatever politics you believe in, whatever they have to say, good or bad, he's like, they're all buying Jordans. Everybody buys Jordans. You know what I mean? They're still buying Jordans. So I love that. I think it's so real too, because, I mean, you could let the bullshit affect you, but it's all irrelevant at the end of the day. If you know who you are, then you can just be who you are all the time. You don't have to hide or I'm putting up this front to try to, like you said, please the establishment. You are. You go to bed at night, you have a smile on your face because you know exactly who the fuck you are at the end of the day. So I respect that, bro. New segment we got right here, but we're gonna hit you with this last. It's called the Mount Rush. So, you know, we've had all different people. We've had Dana on here. We've had a bunch of football players, a couple UFC fighters. So we want to know, who's your Mount Rush top 4 trash talkers of all time in the UFC?
My 4 Mount Rush was number 1 for sure. My boy Chael Bisson and the Westland Gangster. I mean, there was some years back in the 2000s where his parents only made $100,000 a year. Could you imagine having to live in a house in 2000 with $100,000 a year? That's tough living, guys. That's scary. You don't know where you're gonna get your next meal. That's some scary ass shit. So, Chael Bisson, and he takes the cake, man. Love that guy. Gave me my start in MMA. I remember I was at Oregon State Wrestling, and he was getting ready for the second Anderson Silva fight, and he'd heard about my cardio. I was like, never got tired in practice, so he would come to train with me at Oregon State to get ready for the Anderson fight. So gave me a lot of knowledge, helped me out. You know, I grew up with him in Mac Club and the wrestling thing in Oregon. So, you know, that he's the go to the trash talk. No one's ever going to compare to that guy.
That's so
smart. Yeah.
That's dope. You got who's your 3 others? I know you mentioned McGregor.
Yeah, McGregor for sure. I would say number 2. You know, he's definitely, you know, mimicked and saw a lot of what Chael did and put it in his own right. So he's definitely hilarious at the press conference. He's a guy that gets everybody hyped up, and you go and you're going to have a laugh. You're going to be entertained, and that's what the sport's all about, being entertained and understanding that it's show business, and there's not a better showman than Conor McGregor. So
him and Chael, I think we're talking shit on stage one time before. He was like, I think Chael was shitting on Conor for his shoes or whatever, and they went back and forth. But just funny because you're 1 and 2 exchanged trash talking before at one point. So yeah, that's funny.
Who would be your 2 others?
2 others?
And you can include yourself. You can include yourself.
A guy like Dustin Poirier, he never wants anybody to talk bad about him. He wants to be known as the family man, but off the camera, the guy's a piece of shit. I've seen him in the gym. He won't shake people's hands or take pictures. Like, fanboys, like, oh my God, it's so great to see you. And he's just disregarding him. Get away from me. I got stuff to do. Like, dude, come on, bro. Those are the people that are paying for the sport, paying for your merchandise, paying to watch your fights. So you got to respect them. So everybody wants to be a nice guy. No one wants to be a bad guy and be hated. Everybody wants to be loved. So, you know, I don't know.
Is he a fake nice guy?
He's a fake nice guy for sure. 100% fake nice guy.
He kind of gives me that vibes. I hate saying this on camera, but I'm going to just take a page out of your book and just not give a But I say the same thing. It's hard to, you don't really know what you're getting. And I think as a fan, like you said, it's hard to ride with a guy where you're like, is he being real or is he being fake? Is he a dickhead? Yeah. Because he does kind of give off, it's like,
oh, yeah. And you see some of the times after the fights, like he's rubbing it in Michael Chandler's face that, oh, yeah, it's what, bitch, yeah, saying stupid shit. And then to Conor, what he was saying to Conor, like, bro, that guy just made your career. He just made you the biggest paycheck and star you're ever going to be. You should be thanking that guy and getting on your Lucky Charms and doing whatever he wants for you. I know your wife was in his DMs and, you know, Conor had a kid with, you know, his Jolie, you know, Dustin's wife. But, dude, don't be mad at him because of that, because your wife sweats Conor. I mean, he's the biggest star there is. Don't be mad that you're a bum and no one gives a about you and you're a fake nice guy. So, you know, but, you know.
So that's your question, yes. Yes.
Yes. It's a fake nice guy, sorry.
It's a big yes.
Please don't
apologize. Don't ever apologize. Don't ever apologize. So the other two, we'll put you as the other you're at least number 3. And then we could, I mean, the last, there's no, I mean, do you have a 4th or not?
Dude,
we could leave it off. Fuck it. If you only got 3, then fuck,
You got to earn it.
just leave a blank fit.
You gotta earn it. Nothing's just like you, Max. Nothing was given to you in this life. You had to earn everything you had. Blood, sweat, and tears the hard way.
Amen. Amen, brother. I love that.
How did you two get connected?
Me and Max?
Yeah.
I met him in Miami. We went to Sexy Fish with Hunter Campbell for dinner, and then Dana showed up later. And, you know, I just met him, and I was like, dude, that's crazy. That's the best player in the NFL, and he's acting like the most respectful, genuine person at the table. Like, I've met so many celebrities and athletes, and no one composes and handles himself like Maxx. Every other player thinks their shit don't stink, think they're better than people in the room. Just the kindness in his heart, it really shows when you're around this guy. So it was an honor and privilege to have dinner with Maxx that night, and just the fact that he invited me in his podcast is like a dream come true and one of the most humbling things ever. So thank you, Maxx.
No, I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, Sexy Fish. Great time. Very loud music. We might have to talk to the audio people there, but it was a great time. No, and it goes both ways, bro. I told these guys, they're like, you know, you don't know. You see from your press conferences, you're like, this dude might be a loose cannon. But in person, I told him, like, he was one of the most respectful, coolest, down-to-earth dude, and he's got that mentality like I got. Like, we work for everything we've gotten, so it's always mutual respect at the end of the day. So like you said, bro, it's an absolute honor you came on, bro. You're a legend, brother.
You got a rush, man?
Hell yeah.
We got so what we do, we have the Condor Cartel, right? The fan base, they'll send in questions. So we got about 5-6 questions. Start off with a heater. Max Solomon says, who wins in a street fight, you or Max?
Right after he just gave us so much love.
Yeah.
You could be honest, you know.
Yeah,
Like that.
I don't know. I no comment. You know, he's a big guy. If he hits me, I'm going to sleep for sure. It's not going to be like these other fights with Leon or Usman where they couldn't finish me. This guy's finishing me if he puts his hands on me. But I got the wrestling advantage, so I don't know. But he's so strong in the hips, I don't know if I could even take him down. So
Fair. We'll take that as a
I can't give a prediction, but I would be scared to face up with that guy in the streets. And I don't fear nobody. The only person I fear is God.
D-Benny5, what was your favorite thing about Fort Dodge and Iowa Central?
My favorite thing about Fort Dodge is just the small town that it was, you know, a little tiny town in Iowa in the cornfields. Mm-hmm. There wasn't much around there, just this little college campus, and there was like a jail prison like right next to us. So it was like, it was interesting living, but it like taught me like, you know, what I needed to do to change that situation so I could get to the gated community, so to speak, of America and have a nice lifestyle. So it made me want to work harder and know that this isn't what I wanted for my life. So I have a lot of love for Fort Dodge, Iowa.
So I got a question really quick, if you don't mind. When you came out of high school and you had to go the JUCO route.
Yeah.
Actually, I shouldn't even say you had to. You were able to go the JUCO route because obviously it turned into a blessing for you. Were you crushed during that process, or was it a hard thing for you? Because you're probably like, I'm better than half the dudes that are on full ride scholarships at these big time universities. Like, why am I not? Like, what was that process like for you?
Yeah, it was tough because, you know, I had all the academics to get in, but I think my SAT score was a little off. It was a couple points lower, so they were like, they weren't accepting me. So it was tough because I had Cale Sanderson at my doorstep, you know, recruiting me to Iowa State at the time before he went to Penn State, and the legacy he's created. He's the best D1 coach of all time. And then I had Iowa, Tom Brands, Dan Gable showing up on my doorstep. Like, all these coaches wanted me, and then it was heartbreaking because I wasn't able to go do that right away. That's what I wanted at the time, but ended up turning into be a blessing in disguise. And I really think that everything happens for a reason, because I needed that developmental 2 years to grow into a man. You know, when you're 18 years old coming into college, some of these guys, they're 23, they're in their prime, they're specimens, you know. Yeah. I'm still going through puberty. I don't even have nuts on my hair. I don't even have hair on my nuts at that time. So I wasn't ready for that step up. So yeah, you know, looking back, I was heartbroken at the time, but looking back now, I'm like, it's the best thing that could ever happen, being able to have those 2 years to grow into the man that I was.
Zeke.Bloom asks, what advice do you have for kids who want to be fighters?
Start wrestling. You know, if you can have wrestling in your game, even if you're a high-level striker and you're fighting a striker, they're going to know in the back of their head, like, oh, this guy might take me down. So they can't open up and, like, do all the combinations and striking that they have, because they're going to be afraid they're going to get taken down. So if you have a good wrestling background for fighting, then that's gonna set the pace and the strategy for every fight. Everybody's going to be fearing if you're going to get taken down, and that can open to your advantage. You can use fakes and come up with big shots and use your fakes to set up big shots and then into your takedowns. So get into wrestling.
Oh, yeah. Gabe Guzman, he wants to know, what position would you play if you were in the NFL?
I like strong safety. I want to cover the tight end and I wasn't quick enough to be a cornerback. So like, I like to get physical, I'm not afraid to get up in someone's face and block them at the line. So, I love football so much, but my mom was like, no, you can't play football because you might get hurt. So you don't want to risk your wrestling scholarship that you might get something.
Now you're used to later.
Yeah.
Now you're throwing elbows at people's head. Much safer.
Does she watch the fights? Does she come to the fights?
Yeah, she comes, but she missed a couple fights, but she comes to most of them. But she's just she's so deathly sick every time. I remember one fight, she was just like patting my head. It's gonna be okay, Colby. I'm like, Mom, I love this. This is what I love to do. I accept whatever happens, and honestly, every time I step into octagon, I accept that could be the last day of my life, and I think that's what gives me a lot of strength because I'm like, you know what? If I die doing something I love, then that's good, but going into it and putting that mentality in that, hey, this could be the last day, it helps me maximize and be able to get the most out of myself.
The Juicy J23, if you can go back in time, and redo a fight, which one would it be and why?
The first Usman fight, for sure. Just a lot of things that went wrong. I trusted, some outside sources to get me my food and my diet when I was cutting weight. They sent me some food from across town, like in Summerlin, all the way. I was staying at the Trump, so it was like 25 minutes in an Uber in like the hot sun in the middle of the summer. And I ended up getting like food poisoning a day before weigh-ins, and I threw up like 15 times. The PI had to come give me all these vitamin packs and like electrolytes, and it was hard to make weight even. And I was just so weak. My organs were all shot, and it just and then like not being able to decide who my ref was in that fight. Usually they give you like a list of refs that you're gonna have, and you're like, hey, if you have any problems with any of these refs, if you think they're not gonna be impartial, then come forward and they're not gonna be your ref. So I didn't really know who this ref was at the time, but looking back on it, like this guy Mark Goddard that ref the fight, he hates Trump. He's anti-Brexit in the UK. He stands for communism. So the guy, he was going to stack the deck against me no matter what I did. I could have knocked out Usman. He probably would have woke him up and been like, all right, Usman's the winner. It didn't matter. So, I would go back and change just a lot of things, the ref in the fight, the pre-fight, the preparation, the diet and the stuff. So, it wasn't my best performance.
Ewan Williams, I think. What do you want to achieve within the next 5 years?
UFC champion, and then I want to be the governor of Florida. I want to get in it, and I talk about being the change. I want to actually be the change. I'm not going to sell out. I'm not going to, all the tax-paying people in America that pay their hard-earned money, for taxes in America. I don't want these taxes going elsewhere. America first. I stand for America first. I want to see America put first. I want our cities to stop rotting. I want our streets to be clean. Why are we sending trillions of dollars to Ukraine? We could be helping so many people in America. I have some things that I want to fight for here in America, and I'm not going to sell out. I don't care about money. I have everything I need. I have a house, a nice car, I have, a good amount of money in the bank, and so I don't want any more money. It's not about money. It's about leaving a legacy now. And when I'm done from this earth, people can look back and be like, yeah, he fought for us.
If we had our other boy here, he might be hugging you. I swear to God, Krill would be loving this. He'd be a lobbyist for you, I think.
Right? You got a campaign manager.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll put you in contact if you need. But he's a huge fan.
Yeah.
Huge fan.
So there's talks about adding new weight divisions in the UFC. Yeah. Are you a fan of that? And then 2, do you think this will help with the weight bullies?
Yeah, it would definitely help with the weight bullies. Guys wouldn't be cutting off arm and a leg to make these weight classes, and they're not thinking about their long-term effects with their health. Like, it's so bad to dehydrate your body, and that's why a lot of these guys are getting knocked out, because they're taking all the water out of their brain, and they get touched, and they go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I'm in favor for more weight classes, but whatever. I know the UFC is not, because then there's more titles, and it kind of waters down the titles and stuff. So
yeah, definitely. What advice would you give yourself on how to get more serious about your craft or career and really lock in?
It's not selfish to put yourself first, and it sounds f***ed up, but at the same time, you can't go out there and help others and be the best dad, best leader, best captain, best fighter, whatever you're doing. You can't be the best version of yourself unless you got your own shit in order. I learned that when I was young. Like, I was wild. Everyone knows my story. I was partying, doing all this type of shit. And I would try to be nice to people and be cool and do stuff because it was almost out of like guilt through my own self. But once I, got clean, got sober, the number one thing, they told me was like, you got to change everything. And I'm like, what the f does that mean? They're like, the one thing you got to change is everything. You got to start from scratch, address what you got, character traits, whatever the fucked up shit you used to do. You got to address all those head on. So all the people you did wrong, all those, you got to look at them in the mirror. You got to look them in the face, have real conversations, and you got to clean yourself up. If you don't clean yourself up and become the best version of you and take care of yourself first, you can't help others. So I think that's the number one advice, to just get your shit in order first, and then you can start helping others. I like that. Yeah.
I mean, I think the biggest thing is finding something you really enjoy doing and passionate about and love. And then, then it's not like strenuous work. Then you're just going to do what you love every day, and you want to advance your craft and just keep improving and getting better every day with it if you really, truly love it. And, I think a lot of people are afraid to fail as well. They're afraid to be judged and be like, oh, you're a loser, but that's only someone's opinion, going back to, what you're saying earlier about, do I care what people think? No, dude, because they've never been in our shoes. They've never, put it on the line and sacrificed to be great. They just, are clickbait, they're from the internet saying it. So not being afraid to lose, that's a strong person, and you only lose if you accept losing. I think that if you learn, then it's never a loss. If you learn something and you took a lesson from it, then that's more valuable than the competition in itself. So, it's not just about sports. There's more to this world than just sports and winning and losing. It's about being a decent human, being a good role model, and trying to give back.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's all we got. I mean, this was a hell of an episode. We definitely went down a lot of different streets, but we got here, and we appreciate the hell out of you, bro. Like I said, you already know I got the utmost respect for you. So do these guys, everybody in this building. So we just want to say thank you. We're going to continue being in your corner. We're excited to see what the future holds, whether that's Ian Gary fight or your next title bout or whatever you got coming up. We're going to be there supporting, and I'm definitely taking you up on that dinner in Florida. We're definitely going to make that happen.
The boys should go down to Miami.
100%.
You guys can spar. We'll watch. I mean, I'll jump in.
No, 100%. I'm not going solo anymore. Y'all are coming with
me.
So.
You guys got to all come.
So just so you know, we had at least, 4 reservations?
Yeah.
4.
So let's make sure we
4 or 3.
Every time.
Yeah, we went to the Lakers game, and our boy Creel, he we only had seats for 4, and he had to just walk out. It was sad. So we'll make sure the reservations are on point. But at the end of the day, we appreciate you. You're an absolute legend. Keep writing your story. And that's all we got on the Rush this week. So we appreciate you guys. We just want to give a big shout out to 8 Lounge at Resort World. Giuseppe Bravo, the owner, absolute legend. This place is incredible. Thank you guys for giving us a amazing venue and incredible cigars. So big shout out to 8 Lounge. Dude, we Covington.
Maxx crowd.
Thank you, my boy. Yes, sir. Thank you, Don. That was awesome.
Meant a lot.
Yes, sir.
Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really